everybody. Um, Draft day is coming up pretty soon, coming up within like 3 weeks, and obviously, this is a Clipper video and how the Clippers should approach the NBA draft. Last year, I was campaigning really hard for the Clippers to get Gigi Jackson. Heck, I was so surprised that Gigi Jackson was gonna fall to that when I heard him fall all the way to 45. Um, when the Clippers didn't take GG at pick 30, I was definitely really pissed. And unfortunately, that aged pretty well. And that really made me so mad that I decided to become a GG fan and be a fan of the team where he goes. Like the Clippers are still like quote unquote my team, but now I'm also following the team where GG Jackson goes. Um, Lawrence Frank, he has not had a good draft history. He always seems to neglect the draft process time to time. He just wants to do the fancy trades. Um, so it was pretty unfortunate. Um, I thought we had to trade up for GG Jackson, and even if the Clippers did that, it would have still paid off beautifully. So the Clippers have the 46th pick, and it is a weak draft class, but not weak in the sense of depth. Um, it's a weak draft class, but I could see this draft class have a lot of depth. Um, reason why it's probably weak because all the top picks, they may not be a generational superstar like Anthony Edwards or Paolo Banchero or obviously Victor Wembanyama, but but in the late first rounds and even in the second rounds, I could definitely see a lot of them becoming pretty solid role players. And I'm gonna just randomly blurt out a mini big board for the Clippers before I talk about this particular prospect that the Clippers should take. Um, so my personal targets of the Clippers would be AJ Johnson, Daron Holmes, Pacome Dadier, or Izan Almanza. Which is like for this, a lot of them they are projected in the second round. Daron Holmes is a little bit different since he is projected in the late first round at times, but then you will see other mocks put him in the second round. And reasoning, I said all those prospects because most of them they're pretty much either born 2004 or 2005, and the Clippers they need a draft based off upsides. Daron Holmes is the exception though because just even though he is an older prospect, he does have a lot of upsides. He's really versatile, and I think he could definitely be a pretty good player. But I don't think he's gonna fall that low. But if he somehow miraculously does, and we take him, I'd be pretty happy. Um, but other than that, Clippers should target upside because first of all, the younger the prospect, which equals the more upsides and the more room to develop. And considering the lack of draft capital that the Clippers have, the Clippers needed to take an 18 and 19-year-old player even more because that could at least give the Clippers some type of hope for some type of youth. Because the Clippers they need youth badly, and that's pretty much what the Clippers need, and pretty much what a lot of franchise should be doing. Um, as it showed, GG Jackson, he's only 19 years old. I mean, 18 years old at the time, and then bam, like now he has all the upsides in the world. Um, so I think it'll be more wise, and the past histories shows that the Clippers like the reason why the Clippers they don't really go nowhere because they draft based off they draft like really older players. Like, yeah, I get it. The older players, they're more ready now, but you have way lower upsides. And the Clippers cannot take any chances on older players. And this is another reason why I don't trust Lawrence Frank as a general manager. He always seems to neglect the draft process by drafting older players. He rarely drafts players who are young. Of course, if there's an older player, but they also have that complete upside, I think it's pretty much worth it. But in this case, it's better to draft pretty young. And all the younger players that I mentioned, they their floors are like not too low. So it's not like you're taking a crazy amount of risk. Pacome Dadier, he's a pretty solid three and wing. I mean 3 and D wing. Um, could Loki play the 4-2 since he is 6'8", 6'9". Um, Izon Almanza, he's like a 4 or a 5 hybrid. Preferably a 4, but kind of plays like the 5. Born 2005, so he's either going to be 18 or 19 when draft night starts. He's pretty solid on defense. He's a bit raw, but he did play in the G League at Ignite, which is pretty good competition. So it could definitely be worth a look. AJ Johnson, I know he's a guard, but he does have a lot of promising upside, and especially with the certain uncertainty of Russell Westbrook. Um, is he going to stay or is he going to leave? That could be worth a look. But then we also do have Bones Island, so we'll see what happens. But now, the prospect that I really need the Clippers to take if he's there at 46. Now, if the Clippers take him, I mean, if the Clippers pass him up for a different player, but as long as it's a player that is pretty solid, I might be not too mad. I might be pretty mad. I don't know exactly. Depends on the context of it. But anyways, Ulrich Chomche. He's definitely my number one target for the Clippers this year. Ulrich Chomche, he's 6'11". Um he does not turn 19 until December. And if you watch his tapes, you definitely could see the flashes. He's really athletic. Um, he's a pretty good shot blocker. He puts his effort on defense. Even his offense, he shows glimpse of being a really good player within like 3 years or something like that. He can play make, he can shoot. He's really raw. So in his rookie year, like his first year, he's definitely like needs some time in the G League and even the second year or two probably. But I think it's really worth it for a team like the Clippers because the Clippers they are starving for an athletic big and and pretty much youth. And Ulrich Chomche is definitely the perfect candidate for the Clippers. Um, like I said previously, um, if the Clippers take Ulrich Chomche, it could definitely be the equivalent of a 2026 first round pick, just due to how young he is. It like I don't know if you guys know what I pretty much mean by that, but basically he's really young. Plenty of time to develop, and he's definitely worth the option. Um, I get it, he's pretty raw, but this is who the Clippers need. No more taking 23 years old players. Um, Unfortunately, that's Lawrence Frank's favorite way of drafting a player, but I hope this changes. And the way I kind of see the idea of drafting over Chomsky is kind of like making like it's kind of like a farm system or something like that. But because a farm system is pretty much mainly used in baseball, is when in baseball they have like 18 and 19 years old players and they let them develop in the farm system, and then years later they turned out to be pretty good. So I kind of see like this being the basketball version of that. And I think this is, and considering the lack of draft capital that the Clippers have, I think this pick would really pay off for the Clippers if the Clippers take him with the second round pick. Um, where Ulrich Chomche is projected, I think he's um some has him projected as high as a really late first round, but realistically, I could see him falling within our range because how raw he is, and the league he's playing is not that competitive. Um, but the reason why um he's starting to get some traction is because he has the upside, and I'm hoping the Clippers are taking notes, and when they see him, hopefully, um, we take Ulrich Chomche. Um, if there's a player that um if the Clippers really want to trade up, um, I would also take a look at Bobby Clinton as well too. Um, but that's pretty much an unlikely scenario. Um, like there's like Bobby Clinton is probably one of like if we were to like use Norman Powell as like an asset to get a first round pick, I wouldn't hate the idea of doing it for like a Bobby Clement or a Tyler Smith, but I'm not going to be pushing the idea of trading Norman Powell in this year's draft class like I was with last year's draft class for I meant for GG Jackson. So ideally, I would rather have the Clippers. I don't mind them, staying put. Or if you want to play a little bit safe, do a soft trade up, like maybe five spots up, because second rounders they're pretty pretty doable to attain. You could just send a lot of money in, like $5 million in cash consideration, I guess, and teams would definitely won't mind. Or take on like some type of contract that you wouldn't really like, because the Clippers, um, you know, there isn't like too many free agency, I guess, like too much like what the Clippers could really do. So if the Clippers take on like a contract to get or a Chauncey, that'll be worth it too, because you know, and plus Ty Lue doesn't really use his rookies, so or Chauncey is that's another reason why or Chauncey is a perfect option for the Clippers, because you just take grab Chauncey in the second round, let him develop for like 2 years or something, and then when he's ready, you have him play right now, and it could definitely pay off. But anyways, this should end this video. Thank you so much for listening, and hopefully the Clippers get this guy during June, during late June, and I just want to say peace.